It's probably my base case. Yeah.
So you've talked a lot about a gold revaluation, and there is a gold revaluation account. There is precedent for the gold revaluation back in 1934 when President Roosevelt, he raised it from $20 or, whatever the inverse, but from 20.67 per ounce to 35. You've talked about this as an option to get debt to GDP down from the roughly 125% down to the 50 to 70% range. How realistic is that to happen? Do you think more like just the natural forces of what needs to happen, of what we discussed, would be the revaluation, or do you actually foresee an overnight at some point revaluation where they could have the money to go grab the debt and eradicate it?
I think it's a tail risk, that option, sort of revaluing there's, if you go into the financial accounting manual for Federal Reserve banks, section 2.10, I think, 2.10, basically says Treasury can go to the Fed and say, revalue the gold. The increase in the price of gold would make a deposit into the Treasury general account, free and clear, no debt attached, that Yellen could spend however she wants. And the math is 261 million ounces, 4,000 per ounce is about $1 trillion per $4,000 in the price of gold. So $20,000 an ounce is $5 trillion. You could buy back a pretty good chunk of the Treasury market and de-lever the balance sheet basically overnight, re-grant the Fed their independence. They could do whatever they needed to do to fight inflation. Voila. That's a tail risk to me. I think that would only be used in extremists or if there was a geopolitical thing, or because otherwise, I think the fiscal situation is going to force it. Like as long as rule number one holds, which is Treasury market dysfunction will not be allowed. I don't see what's going to stop inflation from continuing to get higher and higher and higher and higher. And it doesn't have to get higher faster. It just has to not get lower. And as long as it doesn't get lower, I don't know what month the bond market's going to wake up and realize it's the sucker at the card table, but it isn't probably years from now.